Welcome to Marketplace with Charles, where dreams are turned into reality. Marketplace is brought to you by Art of Skin Care, the company that brings out the beauty in you, as well as Kuwisa Lodge, from deep in the heart of Ngobeni Nature Reserve. I am Charles Ngobeni. On Marketplace, we empower and equip you with the tools that you need to reach your entrepreneurial dreams. Each week we bring experts from different fields of business, from both men and women of faith. On today's program, we meet a man whose business is to challenge yours to be the one that breaks the limitations as well as its own record. How many of us believe that being made in the likeness of God means that creativity should be part of our DNA? How many of us are creative enough? Well, my guest today is going to challenge you and is going to ask you questions that will make you dig deeper within yourself and try to find and understand yourself. I hope you'll be challenged this afternoon. Viewers, help me welcome, by popular demand, for the second time around, Mr. Rambau. Mr. Rambau, welcome to Marketplace with Charles.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you for having me and the viewers at home.
Before we go any further, last time you had some books with you.
Yes.
How many were they?
Last time there were 4.
You had 4 books?
Yes.
And now how many do you have?
I've got 9 in total, but yeah, I've got 6 with me.
Okay. So between then and now, your creativity made you to come up with some more books.
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
That is the power of Marketplace.
Yes.
And I'm delighted that you are impacting the world out there. You know, if you don't mind, what is it that you do for a living?
What I do for a living is I own a company, Richie Brands. The last time we only spoke about Richie Communication, which is just a part of Richie Brands. So what we do there is we do book publishing, we sell books, we do management consulting, employee consultations, business registrations, public speaking, and training as well.
Why business registrations?
We have realized that a lot of people want to start the business, but they don't know how to go about it. So our core business, it's not only to register the business, but it's to take people through the process of registering the business and be able to begin with their business plans. That's what we do.
Do you also assist in registering for SARS purposes?
We do that. We do that free of charge.
Oh, awesome. Because we've got a lot of businesses out there, but they're not properly registered. And someone could be having a brilliant idea. Yes. But if you're not properly registered, you'll miss a lot.
That's true.
The government has got a lot of schemes out there, but they need you to be properly registered so that you are accountable.
That's true. This is more like, when you are gifted to teach people, without the degree or the proper documentation of you being a teacher, you can't be employed as a teacher because now you're not qualified. You might have the gift and the skill, but without document, you are unqualified.
Someone said, no, the document doesn't matter.
It matters a lot. It matters a lot, quite a lot. I mean, how then do I say I'm going to be driving on the street without the license? Then if the police can get me driving without a license, they will arrest me. So skill alone with no proper documentation is nothing.
Then tell me, who's Richard Rambau?
Now, Richard is just a motivational speaker and a director of the company that I just mentioned, Richie Brands. I am also a manager of one of the retail businesses, an author of 9 books, as I said. That is just a little bit about me.
We are going to talk about creativity. Do you mind to define what creativity is? What creativity means in your own words?
Creativity, to me, it is something that fuels the big dreams. Creativity gives the business an opportunity to survive. Because what I understand is that everyone can start a business and we can all run the same business. But what will define the business that will stand out and stand the test of time is how creative you are. So creativity is more like an engine to every business.
Is it? Would you say creativity is critical to all businesses?
Yes, yes. I mean, let's give an example. You can see that there is a lot of restaurants, they sell common meal, similar meal. But today, if I want to go to the restaurant, I won't care about the meal they sell. I will care about what is there on their plate. How creative were they in terms of giving us that meal? So I think that is what matters the most.
Look, I know a lot of companies that closed down. And I also know a lot of companies that are not doing so well.
Yes.
For instance, me and you who are of age, you'll recall that when we grew up, we used to shoot photos.
Yes.
And send it for development. Yes. And then later on, they'll post it back to us. Yes. You know that we're using post office to write a letter and send a proposal to a woman, yes, who will get my letter three weeks or months later, and then she responds back to me. And now there is WhatsApp.
That's creativity.
Yeah.
That creativity of some sort. And one thing that I've realized about creativity is that it saves time. When you become more creative, you're saving a lot of time, because some of the processes and some of the time delays that you might have had to deal with in the process, because you have become too creative in terms of getting things done, it becomes more easier.
In your understanding, sir, what drives creativity?
The desire to succeed in your business drives creativity. I mean, most of the people that are running the businesses, they only survive in their businesses because they look at what their competitors are doing and come up with a different idea as to, if we can create this, it will be something that will differentiate us from the rest of the competitors. So if ever your creativity is good, obviously you're going to attract a lot of customers.
Well, Richard, if you look into challenges yourself, will you call them opportunities?
Yes. The challenges that we are coming across, mm-hmm, can give a lot of people an opportunity, but obviously business-minded people. The success of every business, what I've picked up is that it can only be guaranteed based on the problems that we are solving. Whenever you want to become successful in every business, look at the challenges that we have and then see what solution you can be providing. A lot of business people that I know that are very successful today are the people that saw a gap, saw a problem, and came up with a solution. There's something that I've learned from the late Dr. Miles Monroe. He says, if ever you want to make it in the business world, don't look for success, but look for a problem. When you find that problem, think of how you can solve it while making money for yourself. I'll give you an example. Everything that we have around us has got one use. Let me give you a practical example about the bottle of cold drink. Whenever somebody going to buy the cold drink, but it's just contained with a container, they don't care about the container, but that container works on a lot of things. It will work on containing the cold drink, and then when there's no cold drink inside, somebody can take it, go recycle it, or they can take it and do something else. So that is also part of creativity. So when somebody says, this is the container, I don't need, I'm throwing it away, then they're creating an opportunity for somebody to make a business out of it. So that is part of creativity. So the challenges that we have, always, if ever we become more creative, we can get the business out of every challenge.
Look, Baba, with due respect, look into the South African context or African context and look into the level of education. Will you say the level of education here in Africa is conducive for one to be creative? Or is there a link between creativity and the level of education?
I can say yes, it does, and at some point I will say no. Why? Because the education system of our country, it is the same like the one that we have had all these years. There's a picture that I remember, I was looking at it and I felt so bad about it, whereby there was a picture of a locust, and then you had to label it that this is called this. And I asked myself, why did we have to go and learn these things? How does that help us? And I realized that this is not helping us with anything. It was actually helping us to waste more time of learning about good things that can make us prosperous. So with that, it was just a complete waste of time. But at some point I would say, there are things that you can learn out of our education system that can benefit your business. For an example, if you want to own an IT company, by simply getting a small information about an IT, through your creativity, you can be able now to create a program or something based on the foundation that you have received from that education system. So it plays a role, sometimes it doesn't, but it all depends. Creativity depends on you. If ever you're not creative enough, I think creativity is also in line with your own natural wisdom. But if you don't have that wisdom, you can't be creative in anything that you want to do. So education plays a role, but at some point in terms of creativity, it does not.
Well, viewers out there, if you think you are confused whether education plays part in a creative role or it doesn't play part, don't worry. We are in the same boat. I feel you and I hear you. Well, after the break, we are going to clear that up for you. Stay tuned. Welcome to Marketplace with Charles. I am still sitting here with Richard Rambau, and we are discussing creativity. Richard, we want to clear some of the things.
Okay.
And make sure that our viewers out there, they benefit a lot.
Okay.
Look at the surrounding. Can one take inspiration from the surrounding regarding the creativity?
Yes, I can say you can be able to get inspiration out of whatever that is happening around you. It all depends on you. You know, other people look at whatever that is happening around them in a negative way and they fail to get an inspiration out of it. But those who look at things around them in a positive way, they can get something good out of it. I will give an example. Every single business that we see today were influenced and inspired by something else. The first person that started to make a car, it was only the first company. But look at how many car manufacturers that we have today. You look at the first company that started making clothes. But today we've got a lot of companies that makes clothes. So every single business was inspired by something else. So in order for one to draw an inspiration out of their surrounding, they first thing, they need to be more determined into getting the business out of what they are seeing around them. If they if they evaluate the situation based on what they want to see out of their business world, then they can be able to take some of the things they're not going to take because they will not be important in what they're going to be doing. So an environment on its own plays a role in one becoming successful or becoming a failure in life. So drawing an inspiration is a personal decision.
Look, as I'm sitting here with you, there's a lot of noise in my head. A lot of creative ideas. And I want to believe these ideas sometimes they create competition within myself. How do I defeat this competition in such a way that I choose the best idea to be more creative?
You must do your research very well. Do your research, make sure that you understand all areas of the business. The biggest mistake that a lot of companies do is that they are in competition, but they don't know what they're competing with. For an example, ShopRite, as a company, it might look at Boxer as a competition and forget about Pick n Pay, while the biggest competitor is what? Is Pick n Pay. So if ever they come up with creativity, that's going to only fight Boxer. What about Pick n Pay? So now they must look at both sides and say, you know what? Pick n Pay is doing this, Boxer is doing this, Spy is doing this. If we can combine all these things, all these ideas from these people who can come up with something. For an example, ShopRite started up with the issue of money market. And then after that, few years after that, now we started seeing Pick n Pay having their own money market system, Spar now having their own money market system, but it was started by one. Now, the customer now has to choose which one will be convenient for me. Should I have to go to ShopRite and stand in a queue, or should I have to go to Pick n Pay and get to do my transaction very easily without any inconveniences? Now, the manner in which the one of those companies will succeed will depend on how they try to simplify the process for the customers. Then that is what's going to get them to win customers. Other than that, you can have the system in place, but if it does not benefit customers, and then you are guaranteed to lose the business.
Coca-Cola looked into water,
yes,
as their competitor, and hence they went out to buy this big company which was manufacturing still water. Would you say looking beyond your borders in terms of competition and creativity works?
Yes, I would say so. I mean, if there was no water, I don't think Coca-Cola would be making Coke. I don't think they would be making any cold drink. That is why I'm saying everything that is around us, you can do something, you can get the business out of it. Now, if you look at Coca-Cola as you gave as an example, the source of that cold drink, it is not the acids, but something that differentiates water from cold drink, it is the acid. So the acid on its own without water can't be a cold drink. So my point here is that through their creativity, they realize that if we can come and put acid, put this, put that, it can be a cold drink and it's going to taste differently from water. Now, as us as consumers, we look at it and say, no, today I just want something with acid, then I go for cold drink. I don't want anything with acid, and then I go for water. But all those things comes from what? Comes from water. So all that is what? Creativity.
Baba, let's face the truth here. Let's pretend it's only me and you.
Okay.
No one is watching the show. And be realistic. What play do drugs have in being creativity? Because a lot of people, especially you go anywhere where we talk of creative arts, as an example, it's a lot of drugs.
Yes.
Dreadlocks, tattoos all over. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with dreadlocks. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with tattoos, but I'm talking about drugs here, because someone will go out and smoke dagga. When they come back, they're very creative. That's a reality.
Charles, that goes with their beliefs. That goes with their beliefs. You know, I'm convinced to believe that everything that you believe in will give you the results that you believe to get. If somebody believes that out of this drug, this is what I'm going to get, they will get that. If they don't believe in that, it's not going to work. I've tried it several times. I told myself that, you know what, Disprin does not heal my headache.
Yeah.
Only grandpa. So no matter how many Disprins I can drink today if I've got a headache, it will continue. But if I take one grandpa, immediately I will be fine. Now, this goes with the belief. If people believe that, no, I need to get dagga for me to be able to perform better, yes, it's good. They will see it working for them. But according to me, it's all in their mind, and according to and it's all in their beliefs. So whatever that you believe in will become your reality.
But talking about creativity, how does one move from an idea to action, to the end product? Because some of us, we're creative in our minds, but we die with these things in our minds. How would you help someone to take it out of from mind to an idea written down to a substance?
The first thing that we have to look at there is, why do you want to do it? The reason for you to do something should become a pushing force. It actually becomes a pushing or a pulling force. So if your reason for doing something is not strong enough, then obviously you're not going to start it. But if the reason of doing something is something that is burning you inside, you feel that, you know what, I have to get this result at the end of the day, then you will go back and say, I have to start this. But what I've picked up is that you need to have somebody around you who believes in what you believe in. Alone, most dreams are in people's minds, but they never get to materialize. Why? Because when they are alone, they create another monster between them and where they are to say, now there might be something around here that will prevent me from doing this. But if you believe on something, you believe on the results you are going to get, then you have people around who believes in what you believe in, then you can say, I need to get started. You need to be realistic of the fact that at some point when you need to make your dream work, it's not going to come easy. So most people believe that the dream will work without them working hard for the dream. And that is a complete untrue.
That's a dream on its own.
That's a dream on its own. It remains a dream until they die. Yeah. Now, I say a dream is something that, you know what, it's dead already. When we're talking about a dream, it's like we are saying, no, Charles lived and then he died. The dream is dead. But one person who has that dream must go and resurrect that dream. And you only resurrect it through what? Actioning on it. Because if the dream that is not worked upon, nothing will it bring.
Now, I want us to talk about your works. You have got a number of books.
Yes.
You wrote them.
Yes.
And you're sure about that?
Yes.
I'm going to pick this one. Pathways to Your Greater Success by Richard Rambau. How do you find yourself?
Number one, I have to be honest with myself. You know, everyone every day is trying to become somebody that everybody will acknowledge, and they forget to become themselves. You find me walking on the street, changing the movement because I want people to look at me in a certain way that I think they will appreciate or acknowledge me. While I'm forgetting the fact that, you know what, I am myself. There is no better me except me. It's only about me. And then once you start to realize that, you know what, there will never be another Richard except me, you start to become honest with yourself and say, Richard does not like this. Richard likes this. Richard can stand for this. Richard cannot stand for this. Richard is bad here. Richard is good here. And then now, even when you plan your life, you plan it around your own honesty, your own sincerity. And you forget about everybody else. That's when now you get to discover who you truly are. Then when you go in the process, working towards your dreams, obviously, now you will always have this thing that takes you back to yourself. Whenever you come across challenges along the road, you will be like, but Richard is not somebody who quits. But Richard is not somebody who will just live doing good things because people are not appreciating it. But if you are not honest with yourself, people can change they can shift you from the right path to a wrong path.
And what is the value of hard work when it comes to creativity? Because when we were born, we were told that hard work came because of sin. And now we sit down, we relax. And in your book here, you're talking of hard work. What is the value of hard work?
Charles, as much as we're sitting here in this studio, somebody had to work hard trying to connect whatever that you see in this studio. So there is nothing that you can do or achieve without working on it. Now, when we're talking about the hard work, it's coming from the word work. Now, we cannot have the hard work if the dream is not strong. We have hard work if the dream is strong. For an example, if ever you want to get to Joburg very quicker, it means you need to run faster. And that needs your energy. But if you just want to get to Joburg and at any time you don't have a problem, you can walk slowly and then you take the whole year to get to Joburg. But your dream requires that you work hard. Where you want to go and the deadlines you have given to yourself requires that you do something, hardly so that you can be able to attain that. So every dream that we have, we need to understand it's not going to come easy. The bigger the dream, the harder you're supposed to work towards it. But the smaller the dream, and then the slower you're going to work towards it.
Rich, you know, I still have got a lot of questions for you. But unfortunately, we ran out of time. Well, I would like to appreciate you and thank you very much for gracing our studios.
Thank you so much, Charles.
If someone wants to get a hold of you, how do they do that? Because you have got great materials.
They can email me at info@richardrambau.co.za. info@richardrambau.co.za. Lastly, they can find me on the social media, Facebook preferably. I go by the name of Richard Rambau Motivational Page. Richard Rambau Motivational Page.
Well, viewers out there you have it. Richard is not an ordinary young person. He's a dynamite in his own right. Don't forget, hard work don't kill. When we speak of work in the Bible, which came out of curse, we're talking about toiling. Toiling is working very hard with no results to show. But if you work and there's a result to show, that's what me and you are created for. Don't be afraid to work smart, work hard. But above all, get the materials from Richard. Give him a call. His books are great. God bless you. See you next time.
Join Marketplace with Charles on an 11-day tour of the Holy Land. Take the route Israel traveled to the Promised Land. Cross over the Red Sea and float on the Dead Seas, the lowest point on earth with amazing healing properties. Experience the vibe of Jericho and cruise on the Sea of Galilee to Capernaum, the hometown of Jesus. Visit the pools of Bethesda, Nazareth, Bethlehem, and many more. Walk where Jesus walked and see the Bible come alive. If beautiful memories and an enriched spirit is what you are looking for, then join us in taking Jesus to the marketplace. For more information, call us on +27 72 123 0078 or email israel@artofskincare.co.za.